What's poppin'?
I think I have to congratulate you and then say, how are you? How are you?
I wish I'm fine.
You wish you were?
Yeah, I wish I was rested. I mean, these are the times where you look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, Charlie, you say, Musu ben Makofa. No, I don't think it's a Musu. I think a Juma ben Makofa Gumisui. Or how is it said?
Okay.
Because of the hard work because of the hard work involved. I mean, these are the times where you look at it and feel like, Charlie, I mean, I wish I was actually sleeping by now, but typical me, I know I can't sleep for actually even for an hour. I'll be bored.
Because pressure is some.
Well, lots of pressure, but I mean, it's all good.
A year by this time, I think now who collapse.
Actually, that was 2 years.
2 years.
2020. That was 2 years. 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Pressure net as to see where I say this is much bigger.
It was every year has its own pressure, and it's crazy, you know. So no 1 year can surpass that. Every year has its own unique experience.
Okay.
Also because I think that I work with I'm privileged to have had a very ambitious and go-getter team. You know, so we're constantly trying to outdo ourselves and push the frontiers further.
Okay.
So every year will come with its own hustle. Every year will come because, of course, every year will come with the ideas. Every year will come with something new to sort of outdo. It's more or less like we simply can't rest on our laurels. And also because we go so hard on ourselves, it's difficult to. I know it's important to celebrate our smaller wins, but I think I work in a team that's whose orientation I'm like after one thing is done, it's more or less like Charlie on to the next.
Okay.
You know, more or less.
So you have had a chance to have this event before Corona and after Corona, which is more difficult?
No, in fact, from last year, no, before Corona and of course Corona. Like I said, I mean, every year comes with its own unique challenges.
But if you had to pick one way to go,
of course, it will be. I mean, one that will be without Corona, because then it's pretty much. I think I've gotten so used to doing it without Corona and producing it. I mean, if you look at how this year you're looking to produce different sets and just to enthrall and excite, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Okay.
I mean, 2 days to the awards. Last night, the whole day yesterday, we were shooting, we were filming, packaging content. We said it was a wrap at 6 a.m. And for the past 2 to 3 weeks, it's always been like that. Go into production, go into production, wrap up at 6 a.m., have small sleep, get up again, and get up and going.
But after each performance, do you feel like it was worth it?
Yeah, I mean you know, as a creative and as a very passionate one as well, there's always the passion points, and there's always that quest to go the extra mile. And when you're able to go to that extent, there's that refreshing satisfaction that you get. Okay. You know, and of course beyond that as well, you recognize that in terms of the business of the organization, you would have moved the needle a bit. Okay. And so with every needle movement, there comes its own satisfaction and its own benefits to the organization.
All right.
That continues to make it happy and keep us going. Okay. Essentially.
Okay, so I have been following the 3 Music and the 3 media networks like completely. Why 3? 3 is an odd number. I've been wondering why 3.
I don't know. Last time I was talking to Ricky, and I was telling him that I think that for me, as somebody that started this, I've always done things from a gutsy level.
Like you've been odd, you've been the odd one all the time.
It's always been odd. I mean, sometimes it almost starts like a whim.
Okay.
You know, it starts like a whim, like an idea. I mean, a light bulb moment. You're like, okay, I want it, and I go. and the pieces, I mean, with time it connects the dots and then it begins to make sense. But just sometimes the journey has from the start was never for in some instances was never logical. It didn't seem like it's gonna
seem realistic.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it would take shape in this.
It could pan out.
You know, it was just a gutty feeling. It was just the whim. It was just the insight. It was just a passion point. It was just a light bulb moment, and it was just a young man. I mean, trying to do better. A young man trying to, I mean, do hairy, bold, audacious things. And I mean, finding the possibilities and the connections to make it happen.
Okay.
You know, so, and if you look at a lot of, and I sat back and I thought about them, like, looks like 3 has been following me all this while. You know, from when I used to play football. And
why?
I mean, there was 3 has always been that. I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, okay.
Is it like your lucky number or something?
Well, my dad has 10 kids. My mom has 3 kids.
Oh, okay.
I'm also, in terms of the 10 kids, I'm also an odd number. I'm 7.
Oh, okay.
And
I get where they comes from then.
And when my first entrepreneurship venture in the media entertainment space, when I thought I was done with my first phase of mentorship and working in industry, I had a 3 in there, 30 minutes. It was a show that I called 30 Minutes.
Okay.
3-0. And I remember on the show, the first episode of it, there was this, I used to present it as well. There's this line I said, 30 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
And then, you know, that, and then of course, I was running Muse, and we had to create a new music brand. But prior to that, I knew of a brand called 4Music in the UK.
Okay.
You know, so, and I was really awed by the look and feel of what they've achieved, and the fact that the 4Music went on to become the biggest commercial music TV platform in the UK. And I thought we could replicate that. Okay. You know, and so when there was an opportunity to have to create a music block, so to say, for another channel, when I was moving away from Muse, and I was in conversation with TV3, I thought, why don't I call it 3Music?
Okay, so as a young guy, I'm sure you loved music, listening to songs and all. At what point did you feel like, no, I could be part of this thing in a bigger way than just being a common music user or lover? At what point?
Well, I think at the point where I became conscious about music was when I was just about 6, 7. My mom is a music head. My mom is an entertainment person. Oh, so cool. Now, even at her age, my mom can rattle on and on about this celebrity, that celebrity, this movie star, that movie star from Hollywood and everything. And we could have a conversation. She seems to know all of these things. You know, so I think that I'm sure that growing up and coming up in a room before I hit 7, her music activity may have sort of influenced me in a way.
Was she like a musician or?
No, she was not a musician. I mean, when I was growing up, my mom was a housewife, but she's not a politician.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so yeah, she was a housewife initially. She's not a politician, and during those times, I think I may have influenced. But I think that from when I became aware of myself, I've always gravitated towards the arts. I've always loved music. I've always loved entertainment stuff. And throughout GSS, throughout primary school, GSS, I think I gravitated more towards the arts. Okay. To some extent, football. I just love play, and I think that.
Did you grow up at Fadama?
Yeah, I grew up at Fadama. I'm a bona fide Fadama boy. You know, bona fide Fadama boy. Okay. I mean, it's difficult to have to take the Fadama away from me. Okay. I was born in North Kaneshi Greenhand Clinic, and I think at the time I was born in '85. My parents were living in Buwashi, North Kaneshi, Swan Lake, sorry. Okay. And then, just about when I was about 2 years, we moved to Fadama, to my dad's house. Okay. And I've been a lot of some of the hard and the vim and came from Fadama.
You actually look like a soft guy. You don't look like a Fadama hard guy.
No, it's that thing with Fadama boys. My tricky will be sad.
The
Fanama Boys is the typical Fanama boy doesn't come across like your typical Zungo boy, but don't be mistaken. Beneath the calmness, beneath the sweetness on top of it, there's this simmering, what's it called? This vim, fearlessness, and all of those things burning within.
Is that what you have put in your work you're doing? Because it's like anybody who watched what you're doing this year, it's like these guys are too daring. Is that the Fadama spirit you've been able to transfer into the project you're doing?
Yeah, I think there's a mix of factors. I think there's a Fadama spirit. There's also the familial spirit.
Okay.
I think one of the people that have had a very strong impression on me as well, business-wise and ethically, is my dad.
Okay.
My dad is an alpha male. My dad is a go-getter. My dad is the guy that would make it happen. I mean, he's the guy. He was the guy that would make it happen.
Okay.
Alhaji Abdullahi.
Okay.
And growing up as well, I did apart from my mom, I also spent a lot of time with him till now. I mean, my dad, after 2 days, if you don't hear from me, he will call me and blackmail me. He can call me and say, gentleman, like in Hausa, I want to see you. I want to see you now. With all the seriousness, you think something is burning, something is happening. And then you go thinking, Chief, I come, you want to see me. No, he just won't chat. He wants to have a conversation. You know, and so I think that the alpha male qualities may have come from my dad. I mean, he was a top-level executive, worked at the top level in a multinational Cadbury Ghana Limited.
Okay.
He was also the chairman of the Ghana Volleyball Federation at a point in time, Alhaji Abdullahi.
Okay.
And he was an opinion leader in the Zongo communities as well. And he was a do-it guy. He would make the things happen.
Okay, but
so I think I may have picked that from him as well. And then obviously there's a community part where you receive the orientation, where you receive the whole never die fearlessness part of it. And then of course, then there will be part of it where at a point in time I received mentorship from very different people, and also got exposed to how things were done. I think that my zeal for scholarship, learning, particularly from experienced individuals, and being exposed to all the ways of doing things, this entertainment may have really shaped me and turned me into who I've become.
The person you are. So is this the lane you wanted to tow all along, or you ventured into music a bit and you're like, nah, this is not for me, let's do other parts of the music business?
I think what I wanted to do early on was, because I love entertainment and music, I mean, I thought I could just become famous like some of the people that I was watching. You know.
Who in particular were you?
I mean, of course, I mean, coming out, there were a lot of people. There was Benji Kumasa.
Okay.
You were watching them and thought, I could be like Benji Kumasa, Charlie, cool guy, the ladies' man. I could be like him. I mean, there was Kamis Vaka at the point.
Okay.
Who again? Well, there were a number of them. I mean, you watch them. But there was somebody that I knew in secondary school that I had a focus on and thought, I could be like this guy. It was PDD and Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon, really?
Yeah, Nick Cannon. So the thing is, I read a lot and I love to read. So, I mean, even in JSS or secondary school, I was not the average Joe that would take the Source magazine or the Vibe magazine and just glance through for the kicks and the new fashion and all of that. I was a guy that would spend a copious amount of time reading every credit. Like a movie will end and I'm reading the credits.
The end credits of the movie?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm reading the credits and asking, who is a director photographer?
Oh, wow.
At that time. So I kept on reading a lot.
There isn't a lot of you around.
Yeah, and I had access. So I had access. So I read a lot. So I seem to know it. So even I think I remember even quite in secondary school, almost every time when there was an argument regarding entertainment or anything, there was always the point of Charlie Mukwas Baba. You know,
encyclopedia.
Yeah, because I read widely. I was reading sports, I was reading politics, I was reading injustice. I knew a lot of. I was so aware of, because my house was like a multimedia house. We were consistently listening to, the radio was on consistently. There was a chatter about what was current, so you would hear it. Newspapers was constantly in my house. My father was buying the newspapers. You read it, you get used to it, you find your passion point in the newspapers, and you grow on that.
Okay.
You know, and so I think there was a point in time I felt, okay, I like what PD is doing. I like Nick Cannon. I like the fact that Nick Cannon at a very young age presented his own show, was also the executive producer.
Okay.
You know, so that was, I think, in the early 2000s when I was in secondary school.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I could become like them, but even right away from secondary school, I wanted to be a television presenter. I wanted to be a famous guy.
Oh, okay.
Then I started meeting mentors. One of the first mentors that took me into industry was a gentleman called John Jermaine.
I know of the name.
Yeah, so John Jermaine was the guy that was the first guy that agreed to mentor me. And he was a presenter. But I remember very well that even at the time, he looked at me and saw the zeal to learn and saw where I was going, and sort of looked into the future, mapped up for me and said, look, I know you want to be a presenter that bad, but I don't think that is what you should become. I think you can be more than a presenter. Okay. At the time, I didn't understand, because I thought, but see this guy, you're a presenter and you want me to make him a presenter. The girls like you, know, maybe the girls will like me. So, you know, but I think it paid off, because then, rather than kick it off and push you away and say you can't be a presenter, he says, look, you know what, come along. So I spent a lot of time with him at Metro TV. And like I said, because I had the zeal to learn, spending time in that environment gave me the opportunity to observe, to understand, to ask questions, to learn how to script, to learn how to produce shows. Okay. So
which is essential, very essential.
Yes, within a matter of time, I had become so accustomed to knowing how to put the show together that I was more or less like a production assistant on set. I was not a hired staff. I was not on their payroll. I was not anybody. I was just John Jermaine's guy that would almost every day come to Metro TV and help to put the shows together. And in doing that, I think I found some satisfaction here and there, and I found out that I was improving here and there. And obviously, coupled with the fact that I love to read, love to improve myself, I built it from there. It got to a point in time when my producer at the time, Francis Boy, I know he killed me. It got to a point in time where Francis likes to, at the time we had something called PJ, private jobs. You know, he's a good guy, good producer, but he's a guy that Charlie would want to do move away and do some private jobs. Okay. And at the point in time, he felt so confident to leave the productions for me. Okay. So when he goes on his PJs, say, Sadiq, handle this, do so. I'll go around.
Is this something that our generation is lacking, looking for mentors, rather than trying to, I want to be on TV so bad, they don't want to go through the process? Do you have people who actually come to you? I want you to
I've got a couple. I still have people that I mentor. Okay. There's a pool of people that we mentor. Okay. And I try to, because I'm a product of mentorship. I've primarily improved and grown in industry. Also due in part to the mentorship that I've had from some of the people that I've done great. I'm talking about John Jermaine. Yeah. There was Nana J. Parker. I think Nanaya knows Nana J. Parker, Solomon Parker at a point. Woody Kwache. Okay. Woody Kwache, he's my brother.
Okay. So
he's more than a mentor. All right. You know.
So when you when I heard that you've made your political ambitions very clear, I was afraid for a moment. I was like, won't this affect his music business? Because then, I won't say Africans, Ghanaians, we like to patronize the people, not the product. Did you at a point get that fear too, or you felt it could be a good balance?
No. I never had that fear. But I think also because it's the orientation, and then obviously the fact that I've got a lot of friends, and I've always had that view, even before my political views became public and apparent. A lot of my friends, even those in the, and also I think also the tolerance level of my house. My dad is MPP. My brother actually works with the Vice President of Ghana for the MPP, my blood brother.
Okay.
You know, my mother is a politician with the NDC. My cousin also works with the Vice President, Tamimo.
Oh.
Some of my other cousins are also MPP. And I think that it's the diversity of views at home and the tolerance and the fact that we never saw it as anything. I mean, I think that it sort of may have oriented me. And so in my approach to politics, I've not approached the opponent as an enemy that needs to be taken down.
Okay.
I've approached it more from a point of where we disagree. But yeah, we disagree and we'll make our points known. But Charlie, at the end of the day, Charlie, we could hang out, we could talk, we could go eat.
Okay, so who do we blame for not passing that? Is it the people in Ghana, some people who, you know, once we don't agree, we are enemies? Is it that the politicians are not showing us that side of them that we could disagree?
I think the politicians have consistently shown that to us again and again and
but
again.
We are not learning.
Ghanaian politicians. Well, it's. I think that is at the back of it. It's sometimes acrimonious nature of it. But there's been a lot of instances where the politicians themselves have shown to us that, yo, we're just friends or families belonging to two different sides. But there's been instances where things have become very acrimonious and things may have gotten out of hand that may have boldened the resolve of people to take entrenched positions.
Okay.
You know, but beyond the entrenched positions and then the disagreements, beyond all of that, you come to find out that a lot of these people are schoolmates, they are friends, and if you look at how our school system is, the boarding house system, like my
roommates,
one of my closest friends, if you see me and Yasafo arguing on social media, you think that Charlie, the next minute when we meet one ourselves, we'll stab each other. That's my brother, that's my schoolmate. I mean, that's my guy.
Okay.
You know, Makoko Mante is my guy. I mean, look, when we're having the debate, for instance, we're having a debate, he was representing a different side, I was representing a different side. In between the debates, then we'll tease some guy who's the CPP guy, we'll tease him and laugh more and gossip more and laugh, and then we'll laugh. Then Mark will say, Alaji, we're bad, and I'll laugh. And then we'll laugh and all of that.
Okay.
And I know right after elections, I've been one of the first people that were very vocal about the fact that Mark Okrokromante needs to be in there as a deputy minister, not only because of my friend, because of somebody whose qualities and competences I believe in.
All right.
You know, and I felt that as a young friend to him and knowing his capabilities and the things that he can do, even if I belong to that other side, I owe it to him and to our industry to make sure that he was there.
Okay.
I think it's that kind of politics that we need more of, where yes, we disagree on the issues, but I mean, it shouldn't be to such a extent that I can't wish you well or I can't wish the best for you in national interest or in the what's it called, in the interest of the country.
In the country.
So I think it is that sort of makes me fearless about it.
Okay.
I'll disagree with you sharply, but everybody knows that Sadiq will disagree with you sharply and state his point. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's come to 3 Music Awards and this year. And what is new or what is so unique about this year's edition from the previous ones?
There's a whole lot of things that are unique, new, that will create exciting points.
I mean,
that
experience.
The experience that will set standards. I would do whatever we've ever done. I don't know if this interview we played before the main show, but if I go into it, I may be letting it out.
Or maybe to
in this particular
after.
experience, yes, in this particular experience, yes, in this particular one, we would want people to see it, feel it. After the event, we can really talk about more and more about it. But I mean, this year's is something else.
Okay.
It's something else. I mean, it's a whole lot that's going. The experience is something else. I simply just can't wait for it to happen. You know what? When you just came in, I was just looking at the sets that we're building. I was looking at all the works that we've done, and I was looking up to God and saying, God, at this point, we've done all that we could within the powers
of Him
that He gave us, and the wisdom that He gave us, and the direction that He gave us, and the life that He gave us. we've done the best that we can. We've gone the extra mile, with or without money. We've tried to say that we've done everything. And I was looking up to and saying, God, at this point, I only need your support. I only need your guidance. I only need you to make us come out of this very well and ensure that everything that we've worked with towards this day, all the pieces come together for us to have a super successful show. I really, really will be grateful to God. At this point, we're just subject to, that thing where you get to the point and say, God, at this point,
Jesus, take the wheel. I know.
I surrender.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Let it happen for us. But there's a lot more that has gone into this year's show. Trust me.
Okay. And are the artists cooperating with you guys? Are they being supportive with you? Are they trying to understand the terms? I'm sure you're trying to give them a new experience. Are they trying to blend with your plans, or they are making the work a little bit difficult?
Charlie, I've got a very, if I want to talk about industry, artist relationships, and whether they support, they don't support, Charlie, it's a whole chapter. It's a whole chapter. I haven't been here.
And is it a good chapter or a bad chapter?
Well, it's good, it's bad, but I'm very confident that whatever conversation that or whatever insights that I may have to say on the basis of my experiences would always be a learning point for industry.
Okay.
But of course, you would have somebody who's supportive. I think that I'm glad to say that I've had some very tremendous support from some Ghanaian talents.
Okay.
And we call it also not had zero support from some of them.
Here and there.
But one of the things that has defined me and my team and everything, I've always said it to somebody that we will never be held to ransom by anybody. Apart from God and ourselves, we can never be stopped from being great or achieving greatness. So the psyche and the mental, whatever is that, whether you support us, you don't support us, that which we've set our eyes on to achieve, we'll achieve it in the same ways that we intended it.
Okay.
It's up to you to see the value and quickly tap into it.
Okay.
But it's also up to us to project the value to you sometimes, because it's not everybody that is blessed with the knowledge and insight to see things in the ways that we see it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've had some very good support from Ghanaian talent, which is
and the media as well. Let me just let the media.
I think that I don't know. I mean, somebody came to me and was like, he was coming to our nominees announcement, big guy in the industry, and then he said he was from some meeting, and he told the person he was in a rush to come to the nominees announcement, and the person told him that, yo, what's this about this guy? Everybody seems to go to him. Doesn't he have enemies? And I said, well, even if I have, I don't know, because I've not oriented myself to see things in negative light. Even the negatives, for me, it's always a learning point. It's always an inspiring point for me to move on and learn. I like to see the positives in it, so perhaps that's why. But most importantly, I don't know what I've done. I don't know how I've related with people. I don't know exactly what it is I've done to try, but I think that I've consistently in industry tried to walk a fine line in building relationships with industrial people, because I realized at a very early age that it's important. The relationships and the relevant networks is but very important. I'm sure that's that, and also for a lot more people that we don't have a relationship with, I'm sure it's the dream, it's what we do, it's the things that we try to do that's perhaps it's enabling or compelling them to have to support us, because they equally want to do better. And by supporting us, it all forms part of the things that they want to do better. I can only be grateful. Okay. I think that I'm really, really, myself and my team are blessed to have had the kind of support that we enjoy, particularly from the industry.
Okay.
In the ways that we enjoy it. I mean, I can only be very, very thankful to all of them.
Okay. Personally, what did the women's branch mean to you personally? Not the team, not the organization, not the
Charlie, it means a lot of things. It's like, it's liberating that I finally get into a position where I can use the initiatives and the ideas and the things I've done to impact the world and impact society, and particularly women. I mean, I've got 8 sisters. I've got 8 sisters. That's one very, very strong, powerful 8 sisters. I've got a strong wife. She's like a male version of that for me. I've got And I think that my zeal and my zeal to learn and listen to viewpoints and understand, issues also contributed to it, because I'm constantly paying attention and reading more and trying to understand more about diversity and inclusion, issues relative to representation, issues bedeviling the women,
equality, equity,
yes,
everything.
equity and all of that. Paid attention to the argument and the conversation, and found a lot of the narratives and the conversations that has been put out very, very reasonable, and a lot of the proposals very, very reasonable, and really agreed to a lot of the viewpoints that has been shared. And so I felt that regardless, as a man, once I find myself in the position where I could help or create the platforms to help to drive such issues, diversity, inclusion, social issues, I think that is important we're able to do that, because I feel that for all the things that we do and the extent that we do, without the social and industrial impact of it, it's zero.
Okay.
There has to be a social and industrial impact to everything that we do.
Okay.
There has to be it. The society must feel it, the community must feel it. Young individuals that come up and get mentored by us or get directed by us must feel it. It's a social impact. We need to be able to approach things with a silver lining of purpose. Okay. And so, these are the things that has been driving personally for me, and I think that I managed to convince the team and convince a lot more people along the lines of ensuring that issues of diversity, inclusion, representation, and equality receive, priority in our circles.
Okay.
The mentorship and all the things that would drive social impact.
Okay.
Maybe perhaps that's what may be drawing goodwill for us, but trust me, it's something that we really, really feel committed to.
All the time, left out, whether in every scheme or whatever it is, their music not being accepted. Can you give them the assurance that representing Odd means this could be the place for them?
Well, yes, it could be the place for them as far as they stay exceptional and outstanding as much as possible. Of course, there are about 8 to 7 or 10 slots in categories. And consistently day in, day out, there are a number of musicians. There's too much music out there.
Too much music.
Yeah, it's true. Almost every day there's songs being released, there's artists that are coming out. It's not everybody that may make it. It's a waste of the world. It's a waste of the world that sometimes you can't understand. And just sometimes you may think that you're doing well, but you're not doing well enough. But of course, Dre music is for you if you're staying outstanding and dominating your space enough. That has been, awards are nothing without mechanics.
Okay.
And a core part of the mechanics is the requirements and the definitions that underscore the mechanics.
Okay.
And the first point of it is the requirement. What forms the requirements? If you check the category definitions, it's well anchored within the category definitions.
Okay.
So you say there are clear words that identify. The person may have been outstanding, may have been dominant, may have been this, may have that this. There are qualities that you need to represent to be able to get in. These are things that we think that if you're able to represent, and so doing these things and raising the bar, we think we're able to drive excellence in industry through competitiveness. Okay,
so the question I'm about to ask, it seems gloom, but it's a question. How have you been able to build your team, the 3 Music team that organizes this award? Is it a team that if tomorrow Sadiq is not around, maybe traveled or something, the event can still go on and surpass the level it has built? Or you've built a team that relies on Sadiq to be around to achieve the goal?
Look, I've got lots of lieutenants. There's a number of productions that I don't actually even get on set, and everything is done.
That's great.
Understand each other and know each other to a point where they know Sadiq would want this, Sadiq doesn't want this.
Okay.
No, would Sadiq like this? I go so hard on myself and I go so hard on the team and we go so hard on ourselves. We are arguing things out. You've got to bring your A game. You should see me with my people that you probably think they are not my subordinates, they are my colleagues, in fact. We're arguing. Because in our team, there's nothing like, yes, you may be the boss, they will call you the experience. I think I try hard to earn the respect and not to lord it over them. And most importantly, I don't look down upon them. And I like to give everybody the fair opportunity to be heard and to make a strong case.
Okay.
You know, so soon you realize that if you join our team, it's either you are reading ferociously and growing and learning and getting that weapon into line, or you find the team not admirable.
Okay.
Because Charlie, we don't sleep, we don't stop at nothing to make it work.
Okay.
You know, so I think that's how we've been able. It's a culture that I picked up, that I brought into the organization. That, thankfully for me, I've been blessed to have a team that have imbibed it and were able to follow it through. I mean, I told you how we went from a production, called it a wrap at 6 a.m. Came back home 7:30. I was on radio. By 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the other members of it were outside doing other things as well. We're running.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Because we realized we don't have to stop at nothing to ensure that we reach it.
All right.
You know. So that synergy, that collective ambition, that understanding, and that zeal to change the world and make an impression, an impact, even using our smaller unit or spaces, is what continues to drive us. So yes, even if I'm not there, because I mean, in fact, interestingly, I never knew that coming into this year, if I had won the election, I was going to be there. But I knew very well things were going to run smoothly because Eddie is there, Ricky is there. I mean, Step is there. Step is like my boss, my colleague, my partner is there. Even the young ones that constantly find themselves in our space, you can leave them to run the stuff. Kombina Reduata, Tosca, Arnold, Saptia, who again? Oh, I haven't forgotten it.
Is Evans part of?
Evans. I mean, a number of the young people that are keep coming in, and all of those things. I was very confident that these guys would pick up the mantle and run because they have the same zeal, they have the same passion, and these guys are Jibril, Gerald. Okay. These guys are, I mean, Charlie, Shakes Babs.
Zeda, is Zeda part of the team?
Yes, Zeda. Okay. I mean, all these guys, I mean, these are the guys, these are the next ladies. They say the assistants of today are the executives of tomorrow.
That's true.
These are the guys. These are the guys, true. And the zeal to really see it and follow the path and wanting to make the impression, and the all hands on deck, and the wealth of knowledge and the experiences that we keep learning and earning together is what defines us. So if Sadiq drops dead today, is not there, I'm very certain he will run fine.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
And to your team. You've done so well for yourself, so well for the music space, and for women, we are proud. I host a female show, so I know what it means for ladies to have something dedicated to them. Thank you very much, and you would have a good show, and next year would be even better. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. That's almost like a prophecy.
Yeah, it is.
Amen.
Oneplay. Add class to your music.